this has kind of been in a hyped up conference all season. They've beat each other up throughout the year. We just saw Michigan State beat Michigan. So really anybody can take down the top dog at any point. So I think this one could be a little crazy. I have been an advocate of how much I like Michigan. I mean, our last episode, I picked them to win the title, but I will give you a bit of a spoiler here. I don't have them winning the Big Ten tournament, and I don't think the winner of the Big Ten tournament is necessarily the best team in the Big Ten. So we'll see how that plays out. But how do you have this Big Ten tournament playing out in your bracket?
Ooh, I got Illinois winning the Big Ten, guys. First, I was a huge fan, like Tanner was saying earlier about Michigan. I was a huge fan all throughout the year that Michigan was the best team. I just watched them play. They had that stretch where they didn't play for a while. They came back and they looked really good. You can also say Iowa with Luca Garza. That dude is a monster. But Illinois, guys, you got Cockburn, you got Desunmu. I really like this Illinois team. They're turning it on late, and everything about them is basically telling me that I think they're going to make a run in this Big Ten tournament, win it, and I think they could also make a run now in March Madness. So I got them going, and I have them playing Michigan. I think for the Big Ten, I really think it's going to be almost like a chalk walk. You're going to get Michigan, Illinois in the finals, and you're also going to have Iowa. I think if you're going to have an upset, you might have Ohio State beating Purdue to make it with the 5/4. But other than that, I'm just not a big fan of the lower seeds in this, except for Michigan State. We saw that this weekend that they could beat a whole bunch of powerhouse teams, but their just consistency isn't there all the time. So I like Illinois winning the Big Ten.
Interesting, because I think this is my one that I'm a little different on. I was kind of chalk having the one seed in the finals in the ACC and Big 12 tournament brackets that we talked about. But I think I'm going to go a little crazy in the Big Ten. I think it's going to get wild. Obviously, I mean, you look at a 13 seed Minnesota who can beat anyone in this conference. You look at an 11 seed Penn State can beat anyone in this conference. So I think there's a lot to look forward to in this tournament. I am going to have Michigan State advancing to the semifinals in the top bracket. The top bracket semifinals, that is. I think they're going to beat Maryland. I think they upset Michigan again. And I think that it's just going to be one of those things where coaching plays a huge factor. Tom Izzo will have his team ready. Hopefully they don't have too tough of a game against Maryland to where they're rested and ready to go. But I think he's going to have a game plan for Michigan. He just played them twice in the last couple of weeks. So I think that gives them a big advantage. So I think that would be one of my dark horse upsets is them taking out Michigan and Michigan going 0-1 in the Big Ten tournament, which would be pretty insane. But I have them playing. I think Ohio State sneaks through. I think they get back on track and they sneak in to play in that semifinal of the top bracket against Michigan State. And then the bottom side, I think, is more of a chalkish type of situation. I have Iowa versus Illinois. And then I'm a big fan of the way Iowa's playing. I think they can put up a bunch of points. I do think they're susceptible to a big upset in March Madness, but I think they can put it together in the Big Ten tournament. And they're going to be kind of a bracket buster when they lose early in March Madness. But I have Iowa versus Ohio State in the Big Ten final, and I have Iowa winning it. I don't know. I think it's going to be a wild bracket in the Big Ten. There's so many good teams there that can win at any point. And I think Iowa winning it, Michigan State kind of being that dark horse, making one of those runs that everyone kind of expects and they're ready for come March. I think they pull it off again, but we'll see if they can actually beat Michigan. That's a very tough matchup.
Yeah.
And then I will pull up the betting odds here. Michigan's a plus 200, Illinois plus 250, and Iowa plus 325. I think those are the three leaders in the odds department to win the tournament, followed by a couple 600 teams in Ohio State and Purdue. And Michigan State is a plus 2,500, which isn't a bad bet if you're looking at something like that. But I don't know. There's a lot of value there. If you believe in the coaching in big tournament games, I think it's worth throwing a small wager on Michigan State. And if they get hot at the right time, they just beat Michigan. So they could definitely get hot at the right time. They do have a tough path, but it's doable. Worth a small wager there. But I'm going to roll with Iowa to win it.
I like that pick. I like it.
All right, that will wrap up our Big Ten predictions for the Big Ten tournament.